welcome to Little Hill Homestead. Can you believe that the garden season for 2025 at our homestead starts in like just a matter of days? We have been doing, sorry, I just took a big old bite of cookie. We've been doing a lot of prep work around here getting our garden moved. As you guys know, we had a horrible garden season last year, like the worst we have ever had. We live in Georgia where there are just a ton of trees, and the neighbor on our side, we do live in a neighborhood, by the way. The neighbor on our side, their trees have grown so much that it was now shading out our entire garden. It didn't matter what we did. We had a heat wave last year. I mean, it was unbelievably bad last year. Like, I mean, I didn't even get like maybe 2 full-size tomatoes, which isn't uncommon, but the whole thing was just bad. So we, over the winter and the fall, have moved the entire garden. It's now flat again, and there's nothing where the original one was. We got some really nice raised garden beds, and we've started from scratch. We're working on getting the soil for them. We've taken you along on little steps of it. But anyways, yeah, I really want this year to be better. And so we are doing everything we can to make that happen. But I need your help a little bit, you guys. So I, last year, took all my seeds. I store them in this thing I'll show you in a second. I emptied it out pretty much completely. And these are all seeds that I have been storing. You know, like the rainy day seeds, the things that are probably not going to propagate at this point because they're from 1999. I have a boatload in here. And it's very hard for me to let go, so I probably will stick it somewhere just in case. But we're starting fresh, right? So, Shawn and I got new seeds for the year, and I wanted to kind of give you a breakdown, a little glimpse of how we plan our garden. So, I was gonna ask for your guys' help. I am asking for your help. We live in zone 7B, which I know those are like shifting all over the place, but we're just south of Atlanta in Georgia, and we both grew up in Southern California, and so we still feel like we're learning, but I think that's every gardener, on how to garden where we live. And after last year, we decided we just wanted a completely fresh restart this year. So here we go. Oh, I wanted to show you guys. I know I've shown you these before, but we make garden trugs. They're basically wooden garden baskets that have a swivel handle on the top of them. It has hardware cloth, so you can put your veggies in here and you can just hose them off. This is one of the biggest ways we support our YouTube. My son, who lives at home, he's 19, I'll tell you about him in 1 second. He and my husband now make these. Originally, it was Shawn and I making them. But my youngest needed a first job, and so I am now, he gets a certain percentage of every single one of these that he sells. So if you're in the need, if you need a garden basket, these ship from us. We make them at our homestead in Georgia, and we sell them on Etsy. If you use the code YouTube, you get 10% off. I will link our Etsy below. There's other stuff in there too. We sell sourdough starter. We sell bowl and jar covers. We've got some of our, I'm not wearing mine in my necklaces, but I make necklaces and earrings. We've got some different stuff in there. So go check it out. Last year when garden season was going on and Mother's Day, we sold over 100 of these in like 3 weeks. So they're already stockpiling them, so get ahead of the curve. But I wanted to give you guys a little show of our little garden trugs that we make. So my way of storing seeds, this is not original to me. There's a lot of people that do this. I have a photo box. It's basically a giant box that you can open. And in here, it's all these little containers, most of which are empty, that I have labeled with different types: beans, root, brassica, flowers, squash, lettuce, hot peppers, regular peppers, tomatoes, tomatillos. I have them labeled by seed type. It's mostly empty because, like I said, we're starting fresh. So I want to show you what Shawn and I typically do. We have a notebook. It got wet last year, and we haven't planned the new garden yet, but I wanted to show you, this goes back to the very first year that we put in a garden. We had 1 square foot box. It was an 8x4 box, and this must have been our spring because it's like kale and beets and collards and carrots, that kind of stuff. But I use graph paper and I draw out, this is when we went to 2 boxes. So that's been a minute. But as the years went, I'm so sad this got wet because it really did ruin it. We got to the point where we expanded. We had a gate that you would walk in if you've seen our old garden. We had a gate you walked in, and we had 4 8x4 beds to the right, a little tiny bed back here in the back. And then if you walked in and went left, we had another 4 8x4s, and then against the whole edge we did green beans and let them go up crazy. So that's kind of how we plan our garden. Some years were better. Dang it, I'm so sad this got wet because, man. So what we do is Shawn and I will sit down and we will plan. I'm trying to see if I have a page that isn't damaged. You can see. No, they're all damaged. Oh well. But what we'll do is you look at, when I draw this on a graph, if it's 8x4, it's 8x4 squares because we do square foot gardening. So what we do is we try to figure out how many plants, this is really small and messed up, we figure out what plants we want, how many we can fit or want to fit in our square foot garden, how many fit in each square, because each square is different per vegetable. So like carrots are like, I can't remember, 16 or 9, and some things are 1, some things, so everything's a little different. And then we put how many we want to have in our overall garden, and we draw like a map, basically. So when we go to seed start, we know like, okay, this is our plan. So we're not just planting willy-nilly. We have to do that so that we can do the next part. But we decided to, like I say, dump most of our seeds and start from scratch this year. We have a couple seed companies that we like to use. I don't love buying seeds online, but I will. And I'm not stuck on only organic seeds. My thing is I want to eat the food from my garden. I want production. And so I will use some chemicals, not bad ones, don't freak out, but we get certain bugs here that like neem oil doesn't do nothing for. So we do get some products sometimes that are a little bit, not controversial, that's the wrong word. But you do you, that's all I have to say about that. But I wanted to walk through you really quickly the seeds that we picked up this year by kind, and I want your opinion or your advice if there's anything that you plant in your garden that you cannot live without. If you are a canner, a homesteader, like high production, let me know. Because we went back to the basics, just like we're doing with our YouTube channel this year, going back to the basics with food. Our garden, we're doing the same thing. So we're going with some of our tried and trues that we've used before and we know produce. So here's our seeds for this year. I was really quickly gonna kind of go through some of our favorite brands and some of our favorite seed types. So I'm gonna start with tomatoes because they're, for us, people in Georgia can grow tomatoes. Did I say we're in 7B? If I didn't already. We're in 7B. We grew up in California, so we know how to plant there, and since moving here, we're having to relearn completely because they're totally different. We get funguses here, we get blight here, we get squash bugs here, we get stuff that likes to destroy. We get a lot of bugs. Japanese beetles love to attack. I mean, we get a lot here. So anything that is tolerant to that, let me know. So my very, very, very favorite tomato that I grow, they are literally the size of the tip of your pinky. They are a tiny little cherry tomato called Matt's cherry tomatoes. I have a couple here that I got from just random places. The original ones I got were from Botanical Interests. I couldn't find them this year, so I'll look again, but these are just random ones that I already had. They are my highest producer. I get thousands of them. They love to put volunteers all over your yard. My dogs love to eat them, so now we have even more volunteers all over our yard. But that is by far my favorite, most produced, and I can a ton of those cherry tomatoes. I leave the skins on, I use them whole, and they're fantastic. This year, my son's name is Porter. And so, and my gardener, if you guys haven't heard of Luke, he has a YouTube channel, but he also owns a seed company. So we have one called a Porter tomato. I have not grown these yet, but I couldn't pass up on the name because my kid's kind of phenomenal, so I figured why not? Maybe they'll be phenomenal too. This is one of the very first seeds we ever bought. They are 4 for $1 now. They used to be 20 cents at Walmart. This is a large red cherry tomato from American Seed. We've done these for years and we still get a ton of them and they work great. Disease resistant. I don't know about disease resistant, but we seem to get a billion of them and we don't have issues. So we're going with those. Apparently I can do well with cherry tomatoes, so I have those covered, but regular tomatoes are my problem. The next one is from Botanical Interest. You can get these at Armstrong's or Pike's, depending on where you live. They have a website as well. I'll leave a link below. But these are called Sun Gold. They're a pole cherry tomato. They are really, really sweet, and they are bright orange. They are phenomenal little tomatoes. I love these things. And again, we get a ton of them. I am trying this one this year because I've heard it over and over and over. We got some Fairy Morse seeds this year just because it's what I can get local. So I'm gonna see how they go. This is an Abe Lincoln tomato. I've heard that a bunch of times, so why not? And then one of y'all, Jennifer, she has she's from Ocean Homestead up in Canada, sent me these for Christmas. They're called Mortgage Lifter tomatoes, which I've heard of a million times. But she has a seed company up in Canada called rainbowseeds.ca, and she has a coupon code OCEAN10 if you're interested in buying seeds from them. I'm really interested to see how these go. So thank you, Jennifer, for sending us those. We're definitely going to be putting those in the ground this year. One of my very favorite, and it's something that not everybody plants, but I really, really love these. I will literally rinse them off with the hose and eat them right out of the garden. Tomatillos. Tomatillos are great for verde salsas, but we also just love to cut them up and eat them. They are extremely sweet if they ripen and fall off the plant, and they're kind of zingy like a lime. They don't taste like a tomato, they're firmer, but they're really sweet. I love tomatillos. It's probably one of my favorite things in the garden. I get excited every time one shows up. So we're going back to the basics. Like I said, we're Market More 76 cucumbers. We're using those. I know they're not necessarily like the ideal canning one, but they produce, so that's what we're using them for. I can a lot of pickles, but ironically, I don't like dill pickles. But people tell me all the time that our dill pickles are like the best they've ever had. So I'm basically growing them to show you guys how to make dill pickles and to gift away, because I don't eat them. We do make bread and butter and some different things with them as well, but I like them fresh. The next thing we made, oh gosh, this is frustrating. So in the South, this is Ford Hook. It's a kind of zucchini. We get something called a squash bug here. If you don't know what a squash bug is, it's this evil thing sent by Satan himself. I think it's a wasp actually, that lays its larva or its eggs or whatever in the plant of all squash here in Georgia. It burrows in and lays them in there, and you don't know that it's there until they've actually annihilated your entire plant. So all of a sudden you'll see like this, like the pulverized insides of the plant coming out of a tiny little hole, and your whole plant could be dead like in a day. Like, it's bad. So I've tried squash every single year. I've injected stuff in the stems. I've wrapped them with pool noodles. I've wrapped them with saran wrap, foil. I mean, you name it. I have tried every single thing for squash bugs, every chemical. I've spent hundreds of dollars to get one zucchini. Like, and then I'll get one zucchini and then the plant will die. Like, I'm over it, but Shawn really wanted to try, so I'm gonna let him. This includes all squash, by the way. Butternut, acorn, I mean, you name it, a winter or summer, they don't grow. They just don't grow. It's... The next thing we're going to be putting, because we have moved our entire garden, we had these in the old garden, and when we moved it, we killed them, basically. We're going to be putting in some globe artichokes. They stay there all the time. And some Mary Washington asparagus. So those are going in. I really wanted a storage onion. I usually buy onion starts from like Home Depot. They come out in February, really close to my birthday. And they already have like a little bulb started on them, and they have like some dirt clumps stuck around them. They don't produce very well. I don't get big onions, and so I did a lot of research, and they said get a seed and start it from seed. So I got sweet Spanish yellow onions. If you know of something that is a really good storage onion, not a sweet because they don't store, let me know. Yeah. Okay, we do okra here because we're in the South and it's a requirement. We've tried a couple different okras. This one from M.I. Gardner is called Hill Country Red. We plant these every single year. We have for years, and they are by far the best okra I've ever had. If they grow too fast or grow too big, they do get really, really tough. So you have to pick them when they're pretty small, but they're delicious okra. So we do plant those. We do usually an entire 8x4 foot bed of okra. We do a lot of okra. The next thing we're gonna move on to is peppers. I tried these last year from a different brand. They did not produce, but as a cook, I really wanted to try Jimmy Nardello's. They're a sweet pepper, and they're supposed to be phenomenal for cooking. So I'm trying those again. We'll see. These are some seeds that I saved from 2 years ago, actually. Fresno peppers. If you haven't tried a Fresno, they're very similar to a jalapeno, but they are red, and they are a little bit sweeter. They're phenomenal in cooking. Do you see a theme here? I like to cook with my vegetables and put them to use. The next thing we have, as you guys know, we overwintered peppers in our greenhouse this year. I haven't gone out to see how they are today after it was 7 last night, but we overwintered these lemon drop peppers. Again, these are M.I. Gardner's. It is the end of January right now. It's January 22nd or 23rd right now, and we still have about 25 peppers going on that plant. We took it out of the ground and we put it in the greenhouse at the end of the grow season. Thing is still going crazy. So I'm gonna plant some more of those next year. They are sweet. They're tiny little guys, but they're sweet and they definitely have heat, but not like uncomfortable heat. They're delicious. Early jalapenos, they're the basic jalapeno that we get a ton of them for, mostly for, we call it cowboy candy, which I know is trademarked, but candied jalapenos. We do that every single year. And rings, like Mexican jalapeno rings, we do a lot of those. So I'll show you those recipes as we get to them. We are doing, because I like to self-torture myself, butternut squash. I'm gonna try yet again because I don't wanna have to buy them every year. I'm probably gonna cry, they're probably gonna die, but it's fine. A billion years ago, like I'm saying, when we first moved to Georgia, like 12 years ago, Shawn was eating a tiny little bell pepper from Kroger, and he decided to seed save the seeds. And we grow mini bell peppers every single year from that first little seed save that he did. He planted like 6 of them our first garden, first garden in Georgia, and every year we seed saved. There's still somewhere on the freezer around the corner, and they produce like crazy little tiny bell peppers. We also are doing the California Wonder because it's just a basic good full-size bell pepper. I was super sad last year because we didn't get really any bell peppers. The year before we got so many, we had gallon-sized Ziploc bags of them sliced up in our freezer, enough to last an entire year. That is my goal again because I don't want to have to buy vegetables. I like to grow my own, and if I can preserve them in any way, I will. We love green beans. We grow them really well here in the South. I've done bush beans, and I've done the kind that trail all over the place. What are these actually called? Pole beans. My bad. We've done both. I tend to like pole beans so that we can eat the whole season because I don't love canned green beans. I think they taste a little funk. So these are just Kentucky Wonders. We love them. Honestly, we eat green beans like 2 to 3 times a week for the entire season. They're usually the first thing to produce and the last thing to go. And so we get a good 6 months out of those. Controversial, not really controversial, is the wrong thing to say. Eggplant, we like it. I know a lot of people do not like the texture or taste of eggplant. We use the Black Beauty because we've done it for years and they taste great. These are some of that we're gonna direct sow, which just means plant right into the ground. Carrots. A couple of years ago, we had the best carrot season ever. The last couple of years, it crapped out on us. So we are trying Tender Sweet. Shawn just picked these. If you know of a really good carrot that grows to full size and stores well, let me know because I need some help. Dwarf Blue Curled Kale. I love kale. It freezes really, really well. Baby leaf spinach. We do a lot of salads. Cilantro. Shawn will get that planted. Gourmet blend of lettuce. These are all Fairy Morse because it's what I could find. We're doing champion radishes. We love radishes. And then the last one is, this is just a radish blend. These are those 4 for $1 seeds, and they're from American Seed Company. So those are the seeds we have so far. If you're like, girlfriend, you missed an entire thing, there's a large gap in your seed planting, you let me know. If you have any favorites that you just can't live without. A certain type of onion, a certain type of tomato that is just phenomenally productive and just really tastes good. I mean, there is nothing like a tomato sandwich on some fresh made bread in the summer. Like, if you haven't had one, hashtag life goals, they're the best. But anyways, that is basically the shortest video on our seed, what we're doing this year. I'm overwhelmed, I'm nervous. Usually I'm super excited for garden season, but honestly last year was so bad, it's really put a little, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna do better this year. I don't know how I'm gonna do better, but we're gonna do better. Anyways, those are our seeds. If you guys have any recommendations for ones that I can find local, certain types, or certain brands that are easy to attain, let me know. I don't wanna be, I'm a snob. I'm not a snob. I just don't like to order online, and I hate paying for shipping on one pack of seeds. And my gardener, I don't think, his are $2 per pack, and I don't think he charges shipping. I know he's toyed with it back and forth. I hate paying for shipping. On one pack of seeds, I shouldn't be paying like $7 for shipping. It's just stupid. Anyways, you want to know something about free shipping? We ship these for free. If you guys are interested in a garden truck, I'll put this link below, and you can support our little company and our son. But anyways, there you guys go. That is our garden seed strategy for 2025. Which honestly, please, please, please pray for my garden this year, y'all. I need some veggies this year, and I need a little confidence boost after last year. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks so much.